Hi, this is Synthetic Icons. I'm Andy. We're talking about The Witches. It's a 2020 movie directed by Robert Zemeckis, and it's not great. There's going to be spoilers. Fucking see it. Or don't, because it's a shitty movie, and just listen to me talk about it. So The Witches starts, and off the bat, it's just fucking boring. The first 10 minutes of this film are such garbage. It has this nice little intro of like a slideshow where Chris Rock explains what a witch is. Although like I'm a little skeptical of Chris Rock's southern accent. It sounds a little dicey. Read into that whatever you want. So yeah, Chris Rock basically explains what a witch is in a weird slideshow, and then it cuts to him as a child, and his parents are dead as shit in a car accident. Bye-bye. This is directed by Robert Zemeckis, so there are all these like weird technical flexes throughout, and the first shot revealing that this kid's parents are dead is like pretty cool. It seems like it's snowing, and then it actually turns out that he's upside down in a crashed car, but this like sends him into a crazy depression that probably lasts for like a full 10 minutes. Any time that you just put a character in opposition to the story, I'm like not fucking interested at all. And this is the first choice that's made in the movie. This kid goes into a depression and therefore just doesn't want to do anything, doesn't want to speak, and his mom, the thankless yet charismatic Octavia Spencer, is just trying to like drag him out of his depression. But it fucking sucks. She's like putting on a show for him. She's singing and dancing and he won't do anything. It's just like, fuck this kid. Like, get out of here. Get out of this movie. We don't need this. This doesn't pay off at all. This depression doesn't matter. It just makes the first 10 minutes of the movie hard to watch. Fuck this shit. But yeah, basically, we go into Octavia Spencer in like full-on exposition mode. She explains this like experience of how like a witch like turned her friend into a bird, which is a fun scene, but like again, basically just like her explaining a lot of shit. Come on. Cut to the chase. The chase of this movie is never that great, but it spends a lot of time with Octavia Spencer dancing for this like bummed out kid before any real witches even show up. Like one shows up and therefore she like tells a story about a witch, but this movie's literally called The Witches. The show is a bunch of fucking witches showing up and doing witch shit, which it turns out is deciding to turn kids into mice because witches hate kids. They're bald and have nasty ass heads, and they've got gross ass feet with clickety clack claws. They've got like weird bisected fingers. Yeah, okay, let's talk about Anne Hathaway, because she's one of the stars of this film and is definitely like somebody where they thought, oh, this is a get. And she's pretty fucking bad, not gonna lie. She's giving two performances. One performance is really fun. It's her in a nondescript Transylvanian witch accent, and I'm here for that. I love a hammy performance that's kind of over the top. I'm like, yeah, go wild. Like, do some fun voices. This is like Anne Hathaway as like a member of your improv team, which is fine. That's the voice she uses around the humans. When the witches come out, she cuts into this like awful, like snarly voice, which, I mean, at this point, just like do a weird computer voice on her. Make it like booming and spooky instead of making it just like nasty and snarly. Unnecessary. I hated it. It's a performance that's so big that she has no handle on at all. They say like people chew the scenery. Anne Hathaway is unhinging her witch jaw because witches apparently have like mega jaws that are super fucking obvious, and everybody's too polite to actually say anything about the fact that all of these people have crazy fucking scars on their cheeks. But like Anne Hathaway basically just unhinges her jaw and like just takes like massive bites out of the scenery. She actually rips it apart. She rips the head off of a bed. She tears it. She like rips a stage because I guess like she has super strength, but in the 3 times that they explained all the specifics of witches, they didn't explain that they can fly and have super strength. They were just concerned with the fact that like they're bald. We have to kind of compare this film at least a little bit to the 1990 Witches. I know Zemeckis was like, I'm making the book, but like, come on, dude. Like the book, like there is a film, you're going to be compared to the film. What I really remember of the film are these like really affecting moments when like smoke would shoot out of people's ears and they would like wriggle down into a mouse. I guess to differentiate this film, Zemeckis also decided that whoever's turning into a mouse explodes up into the air and like friggin' empty clothes rain down with a mouse inside them. It's too big of an image that gets kind of dumb after a while, especially in this big like climactic scene when they put mouse juice in the pea soup and all the witches turn into mice. It's satisfying because it's a big spectacle, but also it kind of sucks because these witches are just constantly like flying into the air as they explode into mice. Like, it's lame. I think that the impact of the scene was really undercut by this like stupid decision by the filmmakers. Fuck that. Just have people turn into mice in a regular pink smoke shooting out of the ear way. Purple smoke. Fuck it. Something I liked. There's a fun moment where Anne Hathaway's cat spies on Octavia Spencer and her grandson. And then like the cat walks down the edge of the house in this like big showy camera shot. We've got like CG camera moving all over the place following this cat. It's very like Remy walking through the walls in Ratatouille, but like on the outside of a house. It has no bearing on the story, but for a film where I really didn't like most of it, I wanted to at least take a moment to talk about something that I did like. Also, I like Tucci. Stanley Tucci's in this, and he's great. What a reliable character actor. A good move, because everybody knows they can rely on Stanley Tucci. Stanley Tucci's gonna show up and put in a good performance, and lo and behold, he did. Octavia Spencer is a good actress who's given like really thankless bullshit to do in this movie. Watching her dance is fun, but she's just constantly like asking what's going on, delivering expository dialogue, and then literally is forced to say the moral of the movie at the end. I don't even remember what kind of crap it was, but she's kind of like, remember, if you know who you are, then you know where you're going, or something like that. I don't know. Watch the film and see her trash moral that like she's forced to shoehorn in there, because obviously the audience isn't smart enough to glean any lessons from this film. Oh, yeah. The setting. What the hell? This movie takes place in Alabama, 1969, 1970. This was a racially charged place. They're going to an all-white resort. The concept of race is exclusively ignored in this movie, which is fine because I don't think that this movie could have handled having a racial commentary in it. But why make this decision? Why set your movie in 1970s Alabama 4 to 5 years post Jim Crow and then say nothing about any sort of racial dialogue? I kind of feel like there was some subplot that was cut out or written out of the film because they realized that they just weren't up to the task of trying to create like a kid's version of Get Out or Antebellum, which it kind of feels like this movie was setting itself up to be that. We've got this, this white head witch in the post Jim Crow South at an all-white resort where this black grandmother and her black grandson are like going head to head with witches. It feels very much like this is going to be in the film, and it's not at all. So why set the film in Alabama 1970? Like, just have it take place in anywhere USA, and have it take place not today. It's a Roald Dahl novel, so it already like feels weird at the edges. You could put it into some like Wes Anderson-esque like time vortex where the types of technology that you don't want to have to deal with just don't exist. Like, I get it. They probably didn't want to have their characters use cell phones and have this kid have a phone that his grandmother gave him and like take photos of witches and like put it online. Like, I get it. Annoying, and making any film in the contemporary era ends up kind of being a film about technology. That's fine. Use cinematic conventions to sidestep it, but using this extraordinarily specific place, it just makes no sense. Like, don't do it. Zemeckis has been known throughout his entire career as this dude where everything matters, or at least in the 80s, in the Amblin days. You know, every single thing set up in a film is paid off at the end. So the idea of leaving this construct of location on the table, unused and unspoken of, seems confusing and out of step for at least who we want to remember Zemeckis to be. That this is also the guy who made the Polar Express and Welcome to Marwen. So fuck the world, right? I'm closing the book on Zemeckis like forever, unless he really surprises me. I didn't even see Welcome to Marwen, and I know it was hot fucking garbage. So like, get the fuck out of here, dude. You had a real impact on cinema in the 80s, and then you made Forrest Gump, which is hilarious yet awful. And I don't know, I like Contact, I guess. Robert Zemeckis has been irrelevant for 20 years, so this desire for him to come back and have like any sort of an interesting movie with the witches, yeah, don't fucking count on it, that's for sure. Another suggestion, or at least fix, that maybe would have made this film slightly more palatable, it's called The Witches. So why not have a scene where we just hang out with the witches? That would have been so fun. You have this mega cast of witches, right? Who I assume are all like good actresses who are left with basically nothing to do but praise Anne Hathaway. There's so much Anne Hathaway in this film. We needed a lot less. Give me like 2 or 3 minutes just hanging out with a couple of witches. They could talk about how they hate kids, and they could talk about how cool it's gonna be once there are no kids. Maybe one of them could have even talked about like their aspirations for life in a kid-free world. I'm just saying, there are no character moments at all in this film. The only character moment, I think, is this first 10 minutes where the boy doesn't want to talk. And so therefore, I guess the bonding of him and Octavia Spencer is her just shilling herself all over the place for his nonplussed amusement. Hard pass on this hot piece of trash. I'm sure there will be like Anne Hathaway defenders for camp reasons added to the pantheon of solid Stanley Tucci performances in movies that he should be better than, but my boy's trying to get paid. Tell me if you liked this movie or if you didn't in the comments. W in the comments for witches, T for trash, ST for Stanley Tucci, because the Tucci is loose. Like and subscribe. This has been Synthetic Icons. I'm Andy, and I'll see you next time.